at this stage. Hello everybody and welcome to Safari Live Overtime, the second edition. We've had an absolutely astounding morning so far. We've seen Tingana the male leopard, we've seen Tandi the female leopard, and Kalamba her daughter, the 9-month-old female leopard. My name is James Henry, as you have just seen there. I have the delightful Craig Batman cameraman behind me. These are doing the hard work of the day. I'm just driving the car. And we're still looking for Tandi and Kalamba over here. Please talk to us. You can send us any questions you like, any comments. It'd be great to hear from you. You can do that on whatever feed you happen to be watching us on. Now, these two cats did go wandering down into this drainage area. And so we're going to carry on looking for them while Tristan is looking for a male leopard.
I am indeed, James. I'm trying to find Tingana, who we had a view of 2 minutes ago in this particular section, but I've lost him now and I can't find where he's gone. We're just trying to scan around and try and see if we can pick up any sign of where he actually walked. But I'd imagine there's a big game path that runs along here, and so maybe there's a situation where he's following that game path. Now, as James mentioned, my name's Tristan. On camera I've got David, and we are trying to bash our way through, and hopefully we're going to come right and find him here somewhere. It's all very thick and dense, and it's been a busy morning trying to follow our leopards through here. Now, this is the path I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure he used this pathway. This is where he was walking just now. So there's this little path that runs along here, but I don't see any sign of him now. I'm going to try and just try and get around and see if we can't find something on the other side. Now, while I do that, let's send you back across to James, who's got some eyes that are reflecting back at him.
Yes, reflecting eyes of the bush baby, the lesser bush baby. Now, this lesser bush baby are not called lesser because it's anything less than its more, well, I suppose, impressively named cousin, the thick-tailed bush baby, just lesser because it's very small. Now, it would have had a wonderful night out hunting, well, I hope it was a wonderful night, a night out hunting for tree gum in the wintertime. That's what they go for, because there are no insects. And shortly it will find a little tree hole to go into, and it will sit with its friends for the rest of the day in a state of torpor. Now, we may get 1 or 2 jumps from this spectacular creature. Look at that unbelievable leap. And my Safari, you say, ah. Well, thank you, my Safari, for saying that. That's wonderful. You can just see the sun starting to come up to the eastern side. It normally comes up in the east, doesn't it, Craig? I think so, yes. Generally. Let's just have a quick look in that tree. We can hear bushbuck alarm calling down in the riverbed beneath us, and so those leopards are definitely still there, and they may pop out a little bit later. I'm going to go forward a bit and then turn round, and then we'll see if we don't find them. Right, Steve. Captain Steve, the commander, is in the air.
Good morning. I am in the air. It's very cold up here, and we are looking at the ground with the thermal imaging camera. And we've had a bit of success this evening with regards to following animals. We found, after following up on James's Tingana sighting earlier, we managed to relocate him. And then once he was lost, we managed to find him again. And we're just moving back after battery change, because we had a potential cat from the air again. Obviously, Tristan and James are locked up in sightings all over the place. And so we're moving back to see, yeah, that is the same spot right there. See that hot spot on a game path, potentially a cat that was walking and moving and then lay down. Hasn't moved again. It's exactly the same spot we saw it when we left. And we'll just do a little 360 degree around it. Now he's got his head up. Looks like he's busy grooming, actually. A little bit of a head movement. It's facing towards the right-hand side. That is definitely a leopard. We're wondering if it's Hosanna. Very, very interesting. And that game path will head him straight on back towards where we are positioned at the moment. You see how long the body is? That's something we're practicing. getting a look at the size of the body. Looks like a little blob of mercury. And the hyena have been around, and the leopards are doing their thing in this survival game that they are playing on a daily basis. Good morning, everybody. Morning. It is a beautiful morning here in the African dawn, and it is so exciting being out here doing all sorts of work from the sky. We're going to finish this set of batteries and then going to come back and land, and then we're going to continue on a game drive and see if we can find any of those cats. But in the meantime, let's go and see how Tristan's search is coming along.
Well, Steve, unfortunately, we're having absolutely no luck. Tingana was quite quiet last night, which is good news. It means that I had a good night's rest, albeit that we were up at about 3 o'clock this morning. Otherwise, pretty good rest, I would say. It was quite fine, actually. Now, I don't know where he's gone from here. This is the last time I saw him was just on top here, walking in this direction. So I would have thought that he was going to go either away from me and go that side, which is why I went up onto the top, or he was going to continue along the bank. But he has not done either of those that I can see, and we can't find him with our infrared or our spotlight at this stage. So maybe it's time just to do a wider loop. I'm going to go quickly check up on towards Twin Dams and see if maybe, just maybe, he's gone that way and somehow I missed him going in that direction. And so while I do that, let's send you back across to James, who's still also searching for his leopards.
I am still searching for my leopards, and we've had some alarm calling magpie shripes. Shripes. What is a shripe exactly? A shrike. A magpie shrike, not a shripe. Never heard of a shripe before. And they were going. Tom, yes, it's absolutely perishingly freezing here. It's only about 55 degrees Fahrenheit or so, which of course for us is deeply uncomfortable. That's why we're dressed in all the clothes we have. Obviously I'm being slightly sarcastic. That's not really that cold. I think it's probably a little colder than that where we are now. We're in just next to a sort of dry riverbed where it can be very cold. And apparently the weather, which is normally a greater fallacy than a political promise, says it is at 12 degrees Celsius or 53 Fahrenheit. I don't believe a word of that. No, I don't know where these kitties are gone. I think they've had a bit of a sort of traumatic night. They've had lots of hyena activity around them. They were with Tingana, there was some growling and general unhappiness, but of course leopards don't have a voice box through which they can whisper sweet nothings at each other, so it's quite possible that the growls they were giving was simply their way of saying, "How was your day, my dear? Have you seen that scrub hare over there? Did you hear that Jennifer bought a new handbag?" Yes, Dina, they absolutely do. We've told them, we've sent a message out via the Leopard smartphone app that we have created. They all know that it is TV at the moment. It is why they were performing so very nicely earlier today. Let's just do one more loop around this way. I suspect the two of them have gone to ground somewhere in the thick bush here. Tristan is still searching, I believe, and well, soon hopefully we'll have some foot support too.
Well, I am still searching, James. I've got some Franklins that are making a bit of a noise here. They're not heavily alarm calling, but they are squeaking, which is sometimes a good sign. So just checking very carefully. We've also got Steve up above with the drone. He's also looking for us and helping us on that side, but it's roughly where we lost Tingana, so I'm hoping that maybe he's moved now and there's a situation where he's just lying down somewhere in here. This is where the Franklin was calling from. Now I did see a little duiker, which is a small antelope, come out of here, and that very well could have been what he was watching, and that's maybe forced him to lie down. Although he's been in such a walking mood this morning, he's been up and down and walking in circles and, you know, just calling a lot and making a lot of noise that I think he's still quite amped up after bumping into Thandi and Tlalamba, and that's maybe why he's, you know, giving us a bit of a slip, because he's just walking much faster than we're realizing. But I don't see him anywhere here. Ooh. Well, this is why leopards are amazing animals, is that they can be so elusive and that they can disappear on you in the blink of an eye. And so we're going to keep trying. I'm pretty sure we'll get him eventually. He's just got to keep looking. And while we do that, let's send you back, I think, to James. I didn't hear nicely, Kirsty. There was lots of noise with the drone above me. So I think it's James, but either way, it will be one of the boys.
Okay, well, it is one of the boys. It is Steve once again in the sky, and that leopard, we thought potentially leopard, actually moved off, and it was a hyena. But it was still a predator, and its movement was that of a predator. How it lay in the path is what they do. And we're trying to help Tristan try and find Tingana again. Just go up again, Seb. There's something in the top right of the screen we just moved past. We're above the junction of Twin Dams and Bateleur. And there's, yeah, no, that's lost again. So these hotspots sometimes can be quite tricky. Sometimes the tree reflects some sort of characteristic, and even the earth itself from the side of the bank can sometimes give it off. There is something moving, but we are at the right sort of height. That looks like a duiker by the way it moves and the length of the body. Not very big. The cats are quite long to their shoulder height. But it's amazing how they can disappear from us. We're a little bit... Caroline, the elephants, they're not hiding. If we found some, you would definitely see them on the thermal, but we haven't found any this morning. So there's a good chance that the elephants are not anywhere that we've searched. They stand out quite nicely. I think last night we saw some. Yeah, there you can see that's definitely a duiker by the movement. It's quite small as well. We're getting quite a good handle on the size of these animals from the air. But when they're lying down, they completely disappear. Well, it just looks like a little blob of mercury, as you saw before with that hyena. It's very hard to identify it as anything else. There you can see Tristan just off to the right. There, he is moving off. And we're going to go over to James, who's got his spotlight out.
Doesn't sound good. We may be stuck. No, we're not. We've made it. I'm just driving into this little riverbed here because I thought maybe there was an eye shine, but I don't think it was. There were a whole lot of babblers going. It was a duiker. No, it wasn't. It was a Steinbock. Can you see it? Look at that, everybody. Our first heartbeat. A Steinbock. Disappearing. Shy Steinbock there. It is just dawn. You'll see that we have gone out of infrared now. We are in colour, and that is because the colours of the dawn are about to assail our senses, which will be wonderful. We go back up onto the road. I'm not sure where these kitties have gone. Fern, I have to agree with you. We've had the most unbelievable leopard week. So many things that I didn't think were possible, or so many things that I thought maybe were possible, but that the textbook said weren't very possible or were very unlikely, we've seen. Tingana, certainly we heard, we didn't actually see this, but we heard that there's actually physical interaction between him and Tlalamba, which couldn't have been too unfriendly, which is amazing. And then tracks yesterday indicating that Hosana, who is of course Thandi's brother, and therefore Tlalamba's uncle, was also playing with her, which is very unusual. So a bumper leopard week, just not quite a bumper leopard morning quite yet. Hopefully that will change in the next little while. We're just peering about here, hoping to see if we can't find these cats. sad Steve's hyena was a hyena. Alright, I'm going to do one more search through here, and then I'm going to move on and see what else we can find. Tristan, I think, is probably in the same boat.
Exactly, James. I am in the same boat. I'm still also just doing loops around, trying to see if I can find any sign of Tingana. I was hoping he was going to call a little bit because he's been fairly vocal this morning, and so if he calls, it makes life much easier. I can then hear where he's calling and try and find him that way, but so far he's been quiet since he disappeared on us, and like I say, don't know if he just laid down somewhere or if he's in a situation where he just changed direction completely, because he just vanished out of thin air, and it's not exactly an area that I thought it would be that difficult to find him, but it's been quite a while now, and given the pace that he was walking, if he did change direction and didn't lie down, he's long gone from where we are right now, and to find him now is going to be very difficult. The thing is I've checked all... There we go, he must be up there. The Franklins have just gone absolutely crazy and have flown off, so let's try and get into that area and just quickly have a little look. But they definitely got a fright from something. Now, sorry Chris, can you please repeat that again for me? So Mr. Q-Tip, you're asking if Hosanna is dating? No, so Hosanna is not dating. He's still far too young for that right now, and I would imagine that he'll be a while until he does. He's just still figuring things out. He doesn't even have a territory of his own yet. He's not really scent marking or vocalizing properly, and so I don't think he's got himself any girlfriends yet. He certainly didn't win Tundi over the other night. She was not impressed with him at all, and so he's going to have a long way to go until he's big enough and strong enough to actually start maybe challenging for any sort of mating right at all. So still for now, he's just going to be left to be the young boy that is curious and interested and kind of thinking about it, but he's not going to get very far, I'm afraid. Not with the likes of Tundi anyway. She's after more experienced, stronger males than Hosanna, so for now he's going to have to just wait. Now just trying to see if I can find where he was. This is where the Franklins took off from somewhere up here. So I thought maybe, just maybe, he was in this section and moving again. What's that there? Oh no, there's a duiker that just ran away from us. Now, if there's a duiker, I wonder if he's maybe not hunting it and he's just tucked in one of these thickets. So that could be what's happening, and that he just moved now, and that's why the Franklins got a bit of a fright. Let's see now. No, there's the Franklins here, so they all on the ground, which means that they potentially are not going anywhere at this stage. No, I don't see any sign of him here. I wonder if he's maybe changed direction. I don't see him anywhere though, unfortunately. I just see a bit of nothingness. So this is... I can hear hyenas calling though. It sounds like hyenas that are interacting way in the distance. Okay, let's try and head in that direction, because that's... sounds like lots of hyenas that are busy cackling and squealing. Now, we had hyenas earlier with these 3 leopards, and it seems like they stole a kill. So I wonder if Tingana's not gone back that way because you can hear them. While I head off in that direction and try and find them, let's send you back across to James and see what he's up to. I believe he's busy driving.
We've decided to leave where the kitties were last seen because we've got some reports on the radio that wild dogs are in the area. So we're going to go off towards that direction and see if we don't get very lucky. They are, of course, a spectacular creature to be seeing. My favorite mammal out here. So I'd be quite pleased to see a pack of wild dogs. That's why we're driving at some speed. We'll let the kitties spend the day on their own. Texas, I'm afraid I missed that question. Go again with that, please. Oh, will the full moon eclipse have any effect on the animals? Well, I mean, the predators enjoy darkness more than they do the full moon. So yes, I suppose it could. But, you know, that's much the same as sort of the effect of day versus night, if you like, on a full moon. And especially the wild dogs, who will hunt often during the night time if there is a full moon. And so as that eclipse occurs, you'll probably find they'll become very surprised, lie down under a bush for a while, and then when it goes away, they'll carry on their hunt. But otherwise, I don't think it will make an enormous difference. There are not huge numbers of werewolves and things that emerge during the lunar eclipse out here. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. I'll tell you on Friday. To drive at a relatively good lick down through here, because if there are wild dogs, they too will be moving at a good lick. Hold on tight, everybody. I know it's chilly through here. Don't worry, we'll warm up the other side. Phew. That is a chilly little dip. Go on the other side. Jay, wild dogs can be in packs numbering 1 up to, I think, 40 or so sometimes. Around here, there's really no way of saying an average. So I've been around packs of 2, packs of 4, packs of 24. It really does depend on what the dynamic is at the time. If they have a very successful year, let's say a pack of 4 produces 12 or 13 puppies one year, and they hang around for the next year to help raise the next year's youngsters, then you can have an enormous pack. If they don't, if very few of the pups survive, then you don't have anything like that, that level of recruitment, and the pack will remain small. And then normally sort of when they're 18 months old or so, the pups move off in separate sex groups, so the males will go off together, the females will go off together, and they will hopefully meet up with male groups and female groups from other dispersing packs, and in so doing form a new pack. Now this is a roundabout where they were hoping that the dogs would arrive. Okay, we've got them. I'm on my way there. I'm at Wahlberg's Nest Junction, Twin Dams. Here we go, everybody. They're right here. Hold on tight. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Craig's freezing. How are your fingers, Craig? His fingers have turned blue. Alright, not far. And unfortunately we can't fly over them because the batteries in our drone have finished. Whoa, hold on tight. Hold on tight. Orbs must I come up Wahlberg Eagle's Nest. Quickly go across to Tristan.
Well, as you can see, there's absolute chaos. So the hyenas have got themselves a kill, and I'm sure this is the one they stole off Tandy and Tlalamba, and why Tingana came in to investigate. But there's just absolute pandemonium because everybody's trying to get their little bits of meat, and most of it's finished. You can see the blood patch there where those hyenas are standing. That's all finished there, and there's a bit more that's been carried off by another hyena. So I want to try and just catch up with the hyena that's got most of the carcass, because these guys will eventually start heading in that direction. But I wonder if Tingana's not going to show up here. This is not far from where we last saw Tingana. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides he's going to make his way in this direction. I think those are the ones there that have got the big pieces. No, there they are there. I can see them. They're around the bush. So of course they would be in the most thickest of areas, the ones that have got the carcass. The rest are all kind of out and Now, I believe a lot of you are saying woohoo. I know that Juma clan, which is what this is, has been really absent over the last few months, and now all of a sudden they've kind of come back in full force. And I wonder if this means that there isn't a den somewhere on Juma once again, because there's definitely females that are here. There's lots of vocalizing, lots of interaction. You can hear them crunching through the bones. So here should be... There we go. So we've just got into position, but I believe James has caught up with his wild dogs. So before they disappear, let's quickly jump across to him.
They're on the chase, everybody. 2 of them just off to the side here. I think it's the 2 females. They are right next to us. I know you can't... Oh, you got them, Craig. Well done. At this speed, that is very impressive. Okay, we're going to turn onto a road here. We'll get a good view. They're on the full hunt. Very exciting stuff. And now we are not far from where Tristan is with those hyenas. They're coursing down through this bush here, and I know it's going to be very bumpy if Craig tries to show them to you, but I'm not sure how else we're going to do this. I'm going to go a bit faster. Let's try and get around them. I think they're going to pop out the other side. Woo! Hold on tight. Okay, got them there. Straight in front of us. You got them there. Sorry everybody, we're going to stay on the road, because if we go off the road and try and keep up with them, there just will be absolutely no chance. Can't see them anymore. They're chasing. 3 o'clock, should we go in? Stay? Stay for now. Craig can see them. They've stopped back here. Hold on tight. Oh, nasty stump. Oh no, we're not going to make it that way.
It's coming there, straight in front of us.
Straight in front of us there. Straight in front. Well done, Craig. Superb job. Okay, coming past us now. Gosh, it's absolutely exhausting. Here we go. No, I don't think we should do an unscheduled broadcast at this stage. I think we're likely to only get the camera moving up and down at a great speed as we try and keep up. There we go, beautiful. Now these are 2 female dogs who seem to be on their own. I don't think they actually have a pack. And Tingana has stolen their food twice, that I know of, and the hyenas are still fighting with each other. They've been in great turmoil all morning. You can just hear them going. This is spectacular. Just magic. Alrighty. There we are. They're just behind us. Yeah, I'm going to wait here actually and give them a fright if I move. Sorry about the aerial. So they're definitely on the hunt. And of course, this is almost late for them to be hunting. They'll normally be hunting even earlier than this. Very special. They've smelt something on top of this termite mound. Not sure what they're looking for exactly. Maybe there was an antelope sleeping up there. In fact, quite interestingly, this is exactly where we found Tingana at about 4:10 this morning. And if you can hear people talking, that is of course a tourist vehicle around here. No, Aegis, they're moving away from the hyenas. They're definitely not trying to follow the hyenas. They will not want to be anywhere near the hyenas. Just 2 of them will make it very, very difficult for them to compete with the clan of hyena. Let me reverse slightly.
Alrighty, Tristan is still with those hyenas. Let's go back to him.
Well, we are still with the hyena, so if you're a bit sensitive, probably a good time to look away, because this hyena is busy tucking in to the skull of this poor little duiker that was killed earlier in the day. But what was amazing about this is that we've got a bunch of males and we've got two big higher-ranking females that are in the middle here, and we've watched these two have massive fights. Now listen to her. I don't know if she's going to make the sound. She's making a very interesting sound. It's a sound that you don't often hear with hyenas. It's this low little rumble. There we go. It's normally an alarm call when they've seen something that they don't like. Now, it's the individual with the torn left ear that's making the noise, but it's interesting to watch the behavior, because there's been massive fights that have been breaking out, in particular between these two females that are busy feeding at the moment. So these two are individuals that have been really going at it, and in fact the one with the damaged ear has got bite marks all over her from fighting with the others. Now, I don't know why these two would be going at each other as much as they have. Now, Michael, you say Ribbon, Pretty, and Tima, Corky, and June are all here, so that is compromising most of the females of the Juma clan. Interestingly enough, the hyena that's closest to me, the one that's feeding on the carcass, is lactating. So it's got teats that are swollen and has milk in them. So I wonder where this den site is. There has to be a den. It's just now where the actual site is. We've got to try and find it. But she's definitely got little ones that have been suckling. Her teats are completely raw from where the little ones have suckled, and she has been producing a little bit of milk. I don't think her young ones are too small, because she hasn't got very enlarged teats, which is normally the case with small hyenas. She's got a situation where her teats are a little bit smaller, so I think they might be a little bit older than that, but she's definitely got cubs somewhere, which is quite interesting. But this is absolutely amazing. To have all of these hyenas around is so cool. You can see they're on alert, and I'm not surprised. They've had 3 leopards to deal with this morning. There's wild dogs not far away. It's really quite amazing. Now you can see that hyena, the one that's walking. I wonder if she's going to turn again. On her front right leg, she's got massive bite marks, and on her back left hip, she's also got a few bite marks, and it's from these two. Now watch. Now, you see when the others get too close, they chase them. Right, while we watch this unfold, let's send you across to Steve with the wild dogs.
Okay, well, we've got them. We were waiting on the other side for them to come out of the drainage, and they came out and they've spotted something over here. We've just got 2. Not sure how many we've seen before. They're chasing an impala. Hold on, folks. Some impala to the left here, to the right I mean. Got Aubrey in front of us. They're on the thing. These are very efficient hunters. Sorry, James, that I jumped in there. Just going to follow Aubrey. He seems to know where they're going. Okay, they're on the track of something. This is very exciting. Sorry that I'm not looking back. Wild dogs are incredibly fast. Okay, so while we try catch up, let's go back over to Tristan.
Well, good luck, Steve. I hope that you manage to find them again. They can be very difficult to keep up with. Wild dogs really do move quite fast, much like hyenas do as well. When they are on the move and on the hunt, they'll also be all over the place. Now you can see how these bigger females just dominate this carcass. Nobody else has had a chance to feed at all because they're all kind of having to mill around the edge, while these two just have a really good go at it and finish up what's going on here. And there's really very little left. There's a bit of skin and a few legs. Otherwise, pretty much most of it has been fed upon. But you can see, like I say, the lacerations on that front leg are quite nasty. Of course, for a hyena, those are not too bad. You'll find that that hyena will recover quite quickly. Of course, her head is now also going to cover all of the wounds that she's got. There we go. So there's that laceration I was talking about. Now, Dory, you are saying who would win in a fight between a pack of hyenas and wild dogs? Well, I think it's a good time to ask all of you what you think who would win. I think it's a good time for a little face-off. So hashtag SafariLive, who would win between dogs and hyenas? For me, it would be a situation where it depends a lot on many different factors. I would say that we'd have a situation where it depends on how many numbers on each side, which would determine who would win. But look at how these guys are standing absolutely alert. I'm surprised Tingana hasn't arrived back here. He was so close to this area that I thought with all this noise and fighting, there you go, you can see she's now dragging off the last of that carcass. Look at how the others come in when she moves. She comes again. Isn't that just amazing? How's that sound? It's amazing how loud hyenas can be. Wow. We are having a ridiculous morning. It's just action happening everywhere. It really is. Just don't know where to kind of turn. Absolutely incredible to have as much as we've had this morning. Has been absolutely phenomenal. Right, I want to try and just turn us down a little bit because I want to try and be able to see the female that's got the kill. And so while I do that, let's send you back across to Steve with the wild dogs on the run.
Well, here they are. We've caught up with them. Don't know what happened to the impala they were chasing, but they don't stop moving. Maybe they're going to have a quick drink. Thirsty business, running around like a dog. Thirsty business indeed. You can see a couple of vehicles moving in front of us now. There's one. They're going to try get in a good position for some photos, because the position or the way these dogs are going is a very good chance they're going to cross our southern boundary in a moment. They don't see the same sort of boundaries as we do. They just see food. Ben, H9, wild dogs and wolves definitely are related. They would have come down the same tree many, many years ago. A very long time ago, evolution would have changed and they would have slightly changed in what they do. But their behavior is quite similar in that they hunt as a group, they live as a family and have alpha male and female. Here there's only 2 in this group, so it's quite small, but they can breed. They can have up to 18 pups at one go, so they can really swell the ranks very, very quickly. Let's go around this way. Okay, well, it looks like James has found a leopard.
It's Tingana, everybody. He's just crossed south out of our reserve, I'm afraid, so this is going to be the last view we have of him, but very nice to see him again. Certainly Tristan worked very, very hard to find this cat today. Anyway, there he is, almost 13 years of him strolling leisurely down into what is known as Little Gowrie. You can turn around and come back this way if you want, my boy. Now, there's been some activity from other male leopards around here of late. And I wonder if that isn't why he's going down here. He's stalking a little bit. Perhaps a warthog? That is a termite mound. Let me just sneak slightly forward. Let's see, maybe if he doesn't just go up to the top of that termite mound. There he is. You can see his bottom. See his bottom there, Craig?
He's definitely discovered something that is either to his liking or to his intense dislike here. Oh, don't sit that side. Come up onto the mound, the sun's just coming up, it'll be lovely. Alrighty, let's go back to Tristan and the hyena while at least Tingana decides where to sit.
Well, our hyenas are slowly but surely starting to calm down a little bit. They are becoming satiated on this meat, and there's really not very much left, and so it seems as though they're starting to kind of get a little bit calmer about things and not as much fighting going on. But there is an individual here, and I was just saying to David that it's very, 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 and it must be very hard to be a low-ranking hyena clan member, because if you look at this one in front here, look at the scars on this poor hyena's back. So the one to the left, David, so it's the one there, you'll see on his head, he's got scars all over on the top of the head, the ears. That's from being bitten and absolutely abused by the rest of the clan. They've gotten hold of him. And then also around his hip and back area is the same story. And it's interesting because as they were moving along, every time this poor one tries to get close, it just gets bitten and basically chased by everybody. And we've seen 3 different hyenas actually biting it, and so it's really not an easy life if you're a lower ranking individual. You can see all the little teeth mark on its back area. So I believe all of you voted hyena would win with a wild dog encounter. Well, funnily enough, it's not always the case, because you have a situation where it's 10 wild dogs and 1 hyena. I've seen hyenas getting absolutely beaten by wild dogs and taking some serious punishment and getting very badly injured. So it just depends on a numbers game. If it's even numbers, though, hyenas are going to hands down win it every single time. They are just so much bigger, bulkier, heavier, stronger than what you see from wild dogs, and they really are not scared of taking a bit of a pounding. So even though they'll get bitten by the dogs a little bit, they are still going to have a situation where they will take the abuse and then kind of run in and steal the carcass or chase the dogs away. But isn't this just amazing? We've got hyenas absolutely everywhere around us. It's been so long since we've seen this kind of interaction of this clan, and I really think that there must be this is a sign that they must be hanging around much closer by than what we originally thought. Interestingly enough, though, there is so many of them that are scarred at the moment and have got wounds all over them. I wonder if there hasn't been a bit of a clan sort of dispute, and maybe there's been a challenge for the dominance in amongst this clan, and we've had a situation where some of the females have got tried to get in and dominate a little bit more, and you've got a situation maybe also where you've got immigrating males coming in and they've not been met with much interest from the females, and maybe that's why everybody's kind of sporting wounds at the moment, because everybody. So is it Ribbon that has got all the scars on the head? That's interesting, because Ribbon is a female that is part of this clan, and she's the one just in front over here. I thought it was a young male just from the size. She's quite small at the moment and quite thin. You can actually see her hips are even sticking out a little bit. So I wonder why she's being beaten the way that she is. You know, normally with the females, even if they're low ranking, it's very seldom that they get really beaten up as badly as this. You'll have a situation where they obviously know that their rank is much lower, but it's not as extreme as this. This is more treatment that a male would get. So very interesting dynamic that's playing out. Right, while we watch this carry on, let's send you back across to Steve and the wild dogs.
Yes, well, we are following them. They're on our southern boundary, and we are parallel with them at the moment on our fire break. Now they're going into Chitwa right now, which is very good because we can actually go in there. It is Chitwa, isn't it? It is indeed Chitwa. Just go across this little game path here. Straight down to the watering hole. We can go this way. Okay, well, in the meantime, let's go back over to James while we try to find these guys again.
He's disappeared, I'm afraid, down towards the south. Magnificent fun sighting we had there of little Tingana, or big Tingana. And now we are going to have to find something else. But what a bumper morning it has been so far. Ooh, parrots. Did you get them, Craig? Brown-headed parrots. All right, let's go back to Tristan and his hyenas.
Well, our hyenas are still at it. There's still a little bit going on. But David, can you just quickly point here? Because it's very interesting. One of the females went to the toilet there, and you can see this individual is now doing what's known as a phlegm grimace. So it's gone and is sniffing the urine of that particular individual, and it's now working out who it is. So you can see it's got its mouth open slightly. Now in the thermal camera, in the FLIR, you'll be able to see that hot patch of the urine. See it very clearly now. It just looks like a sort of wet patch with normal, but actually it's very hot, and that's where she urinated. And so this individual is calculating everything that's going on. Is that female in heat? Which rank is she? All of those kind of things is being worked out just from that urine, which is pretty incredible. But this has just been the most epic sighting this morning. These hyenas, like I say, we've been missing them. They haven't been around that much, and they often do move their dens around as they kind of become smelly and those kind of things. And it seemed as though most of the clan had moved off of this particular area, and we hadn't really been seeing any signs of the females. But in the last few weeks, they have all of a sudden come back in full force, and we're finding the females absolutely everywhere. And it's proving to be quite a challenge for our leopards, because obviously when the more hyenas that are around, the harder it is to keep your kill. As we've now seen this morning, this was pilfered from Tundi and Klalamba, so not easy for them, but still nice for us. I absolutely love hyenas, and they really are incredible animals, super social, and really have the most incredible family dynamic. It's amazing to watch them as they go about their business. And there's the two biggest of the females, and they both guarding the last of that carcass. So, John, they'll do both. It depends on the area and depends on the availability of food. But in some areas, much like in the Masai Mara up in Kenya, you'll find a situation where the clans there are so big that they're not going to be able to scavenge enough during the course of a day or a period of time to actually feed everybody. So when we say the clans are big, you can see this clan here is 6 or 7 individuals. We're talking about 70, 80, over 100 individuals in some of those clans, and so they need to hunt regularly for themselves. And you'll find the hyenas there do hunt, and they hunt very, very well. They'll go after all kinds of things like wildebeest, zebra, buffalo even, which is quite amazing. So you'll find they hunt a lot. Here in the Sabi Sands, we've got a high density of leopard and a high density of lion, which means that there's often carcasses around that they can then potentially steal from those animals. And so they do a lot of scavenging here, but that's not to say they don't hunt. I've seen hyenas in the Sabi Sands hunt many times and find food for themselves by doing so. In fact, during the drought, they became prolific buffalo hunters. You would find that they'd go after buffalo quite regularly. But look at all these little interactions. Isn't it amazing just watching? Everybody just absolutely scatters, and their size and their... I want to try and follow the one with the carcass, because I have a funny feeling she might be taking it back towards the den side. If she's the one that's got the swollen nipples, which sounds like she might have a little bit of milk in there and maybe cubs, and so I want to follow her, because often high-ranking individuals will take their carcass back to a den, and that might be a key to finding this hyena den for ourselves. Good. While we follow them, let's send you back across to Sydney. Well, not back across, actually, to Sydney for the first time this morning, so you can say good morning. He's out on foot, and I wonder what he's got in store for us this morning.
A very, very good morning. Yes, I am Sydney, and I am traveling with Senzo as well as Herbert. We are trying to see if we can find the interesting animals for you here. I have been hearing quite a lot of activities, a lot of wild dogs and a lot of hyenas on the other side. Here where I am, I've just earlier picked up very fresh tracks of one of the leopards. Not too sure what this one is, but I am going now deep in the thick bushes, just trying to check and see if this leopard is somewhere here in this area. I will also be concentrating on the tiny little stuff as the guided walks. They are different from a game drive. Here I am going to try and find things that you don't see from a vehicle. So Senzo, let's try and check here. So while I'm looking for these tiny little insects, let's see what James is doing on the other side.
We've come to where the animals may be having their first morning coffee breaks. That's here at this little water hole, which is drying up as the dry season progresses. Apparently my audio is muffled. I'm sorry about that. My microphone is not. I don't know why it would be muffled. I'm sorry about that, everybody. Let's keep going along here. We can just have a quick look at the sun. Beautiful mist rising out of the valley of the great Umlawamati. World of sport, there is the odd record of wild animals attacking vehicles. Normally it's elephants. And I say normally advisedly because it's not often that it happens. It's very, very seldom that a predator would ever attack a vehicle, and I've never actually seen it. I have seen a leopard try and take refuge on a vehicle once. That was on my car. It was deeply terrifying. A leopard took refuge from some wild dogs that were trying to get at it, and there was no tree between the dogs and us, and so the leopard jumped onto the tracker seat on the front of the vehicle, which was not what you want, really. But otherwise, no. You'll find that the cats will stay away from the cars. You do get those incidents, of course, in some places where the cheetah have become habituated to climbing onto vehicles and using them as vantage points. But attacking cars, no. Elephants, I have seen buffalo hit cars from time to time when they're being chased by lions. So they get really irritated, their blood gets up, and anything that gets in their way, they'll just sort of attack. But other than that, no, very unlikely, very unusual. We were hoping to see some form of animal having their morning coffee here. We have not had any luck, and I've no doubt that the hyena are going to have a drink at some time today.
Well, good luck, James. Hopefully you'll find something somewhere, although it's not like we haven't been spoilt this morning with all kinds of things. Now you can see I'm on the road now with one hyena in front of me, but the hyena I'm really interested in is coming in front there. She's going to have the carcass and she's going to come onto the road shortly. So I want to follow her more than any of the other hyenas because I'm 99% sure that she's taking this back to a den, and I want to find the den. We've been looking everywhere for months now to try and find it. The problem is it's not going to be very easy at all because the way she's going is almost an impenetrable forest, and it's going to be very, very difficult to try and actually get into any of these areas. So I'm hoping she's just going to walk on the road most of the way, and then eventually is just going to find a place where it's closest to the den and then just cut in from there. That's the idea anyway. So we're just going to keep up with her and see where she goes. She's nice and full, so she's eaten a lot and is definitely not taking this carcass for herself. I'm pretty sure she's taking this towards cubs, which is very, very exciting. But she's about as round as she is tall at the moment, which is pretty crazy. So, Dr. Rob, the reason we haven't seen hyena cubs in a long while is because we just haven't had the clan on Djuma that we know of. We've been looking everywhere for them. There's often signs of their tracks, but we haven't had a sighting like this where all of the clan has been together in so many months. And there could be a number of reasons for that. There could be a reason that there was a clan split and you had a situation where Ribbon and Gwen and Scarback, they all denned on this side, and then the higher ranking individuals, so Pretty, Madam, Corky, which are the three sort of higher end females, they were maybe denning somewhere else, and you'll often find that will happen. The lower rankers will den away from the high ranking individuals, and so maybe we just had a situation where they all went into opposite directions because of the split, and they all went on to sort of different parts of the Sabi Sands. So these guys might have gone further south, whereas the others might have gone further north. Now, interesting, she's cutting back into the same place that we came from, which is quite strange. Trying to not be too close behind her because I don't want her to kind of freak out, but it's going to be difficult to follow her. So Rosh, you say I'll be given the title of Hyena Whisperer if I find the den. Well, I don't know about that. I think Jamie is far more a hyena whisperer than I'll ever be, as well as Ralph. Both of them really have a passion for hyenas and spend hours and hours trying to find them and look after them and well, not look after them, but I can join the club. How about that? So I can be an honorable member, but I will not be the actual whisperer. That's most definitely a title that is reserved, like I say, for Jamie with her endeavors with hyenas. She really knew this clan very well when she was here, and then obviously now in Kenya she's spending so much time with the North clan. She's learning that clan very well as well. Now she's just coming past me in front, so I'm just going to turn off here and hopefully she'll just keep going. She's heading in a direction where we suspected there might be a den. So she's heading down towards the Mamba Batalier block area, and we've suspected there's been a den there for quite some time. So I'm hoping that's where she's going to continue to go. She's just going to come out in front of us. There we go. Now, yes, we're watching you. So Carol, in Sabi Sands, yes, 99% of them will den in a termite mound. Some will den in little culverts under the road. So when I talk about culverts, they often have an area on a road where there's a pipe that they will put in place to allow water flow to go through, and so that the road doesn't erode too much. So they'll have that situation. They'll sometimes den under bridges, but in the Mara it's a little bit different. So you don't see them really denning under too many termite mounds. They actually dig burrows under the ground and then they go in there. So it just depends on where you are. Here, termite mounds just make the absolute perfect place to be able to den and to be able to raise little ones. But this is so exciting to follow them. I really am looking forward and hoping that we will be able to find them. Now, Pretty is the one carrying the carcass, which I guessed as much. She is a very good-looking little hyena, and so I'm pretty sure, I was almost 100% sure that it was her. It's been a while since I've seen all of these hyenas, so now it's just kind of jog the memory and try and remember all the spot patterns again and try and get to know them a little bit better. And now, like I say, I've been a bit poor in getting to know them, I must be honest, and so it'll be nice to actually get to kind of work out who everybody is once again. But you can see, sorry, Corky, sorry, not Pretty. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. You see? Like I said, need to get to know them a little bit better. It's been a while since we've watched them, but it's so cool to have them all on the road. Now, they're cutting off into a block where I'm not going to be able to follow them. I'm going to have to go around onto the other side, I think. These two are going to have a little display greeting quickly. So this is how they will greet each other, is that they'll turn side by side and just have a little greeting and be able to kind of work out who is who. Absolutely amazing. Right, well, unfortunately it's that time though where we must say goodbye as the clock has wound down, and we will continue to try and see if we can follow these hyenas just so that we can provide some sort of an update in the next few days. But absolutely incredible morning. It's been non-stop from the moment we went live, which is amazing. So from all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you all this afternoon on our Sunset Safari.